Good morning students. Today we will discuss fourth agricultural practice, that is irrigation. In our previous classes we discussed about first three agricultural practices, that are preparation of soil, selection and sowing of seeds, replenishment of nutrients. Now irrigation. What is irrigation? Before learning about irrigation, we should know what is the importance of water for crops. See, like all plants, crops in the fields also need water in sufficient or specific required quantity for their growth. Okay, so crops also require a sufficient or required quantity or amount of water for growth. Okay, so irrigation is the step or technique, or we can say method, by which water is supplied to the crops for their growth, and it is very necessary that this water must be supplied in sufficient or required quantity at correct period of their growth. Means in irrigation we must supply sufficient or required quantity of water to the crops for their proper growth and at the correct time. Okay, so that will enhance their growth and will result in large production of healthy crops. Different types of plants or crops require water in different amounts. For example, crops like wheat require water in comparatively less amount, whereas crops like rice or paddy need water in large quantity. Even paddy crop or rice crop is grown in standing stagnant water. Okay, so rice or paddy crops require large quantity of water. So we can conclude that different kinds of crop require different amounts of water at different period of their growth. Okay, now how can we irrigate our crops in the fields? See, how can we supply water to our crops in fields? There is a natural method by which crops get water, that is rain. Rains are the natural ways by which crops are irrigated, by which crops get water in the fields. But rains are not sufficient enough to provide specific or required quantity of water to the growing crops. Many a times average rainfall or below average rainfall do not fulfill the requirements of growing crops in terms of water. So growing crops do not get sufficient amount of water which they need. That affects their growth badly, their production badly, and as a result we get a lower production of even unhealthy crops. Okay, so a farmer needs to employ or adopt artificial methods by which he can irrigate his crops. He can supply water to the growing crops for their growth. There are two types of artificial methods by which irrigation can be done, by which water can be supplied to the growing crops. That are traditional methods and modern methods. Traditional method include irrigation canals. See, there are water bodies like river, lake, pond. Okay, so from these water bodies, water is channeled or delivered through many canals called irrigation canals to the different fields or to the different parts of the field. Even water can also be dug out or extracted out or drawn out from the earth surface, from the depth or beneath the earth surface, known as tube wells. And then that tube well water is channeled or delivered to the different parts of the field through irrigation canals. But this method is not an efficient, or we can say good method, because it involves wastage of water. So it's time to adopt modern methods which are more efficient, better than these traditional methods of irrigation canals. Okay, these modern methods do not waste water, as well as they improve the crop yield. How is that? See, there are basically two types of modern methods: sprinkler system, drip irrigation method. Now what is sprinkler system? You must have seen this sprinkler system in your fields or in fields of your neighborhood. Okay, what happen in sprinkler system? Water is delivered or passed into the different parts of the field through pipes, and then that pipes are attached with rotating sprinkler. Okay, so first of all, from the water source, water is passed through pipes, and through these pipes it is sprinkled or spread all over the field through rotating sprinklers. In this system, water falls all over the field like raindrops. This is a good method in case of sandy soil, because here water is supplied to the different parts of the field like raindrops, like rain. So slowly, gradually water seeps or percolates down into the sandy soil. So what happens? That sandy soil gets time to retain water. Okay, so some of the water retains in the upper portion of the sandy soil. Whole water or entire water will not percolate or seep down. Some of the water will retain in the upper layers of sandy soil. Okay, so in this way this water will be distributed evenly or uniformly in sandy soil. And it is also a good method in case of uneven land. If your field is uneven, it is not uniform, it is not leveled, then in sprinkler system water is sprinkled or spread or supplied like raindrops. So these raindrops, or I can say water drops, are falling everywhere on every part of the land. Despite land is uneven, that uneven land also gets water equally, uniformly. Every part of it gets water uniformly, equally. Now second method is drip irrigation method, or we can say drip system irrigation method. Now in this method, pipes are led over the ground or field and close to the roots of the plant. So in this system many pipes, or we can say a network of pipes is there, which is led over the ground, which is led over the field and close to the roots of the plant. Now there are small holes in a series in the pipes. So when from the water source water is delivered or passed into these pipes, then through these small tiny pores or holes, water comes out, oozes out and directly goes into the roots of the plant. So in this way, roots of the plant directly get water slowly and in sufficient amount. So in this way, by this system, roots of the plant directly get water in sufficient amount but slowly. So they get time to absorb water in sufficient amount. This improves or enhances the crop yield, even healthy crop yield in large production. Okay. Moreover, this also reduces the wastage of water. So this is an excellent method in case of areas or regions where shortage or scarcity of water is found, like in Rajasthan. There is one more important thing which we have to take great care of, that is proper and good drainage system. Means there must be a provision of good drainage system in the field so that extra excessive water can be drained out easily. This ensures that there will be no accumulation of extra excessive water, there will be no standing or stagnant water collected in the fields. Otherwise, it will create a condition called waterlogging. Now, what is waterlogging? Waterlogging is a condition in which extra excessive or standing or stagnant water gets collected in the field. This is very harmful for the growth of the crops. When that extra or excessive or standing or stagnant water is collected in the fields, then that extra water fills the space between the soil particles. Due to this, all the air escape out and in their places water comes. So now between the soil particles there is no more air. In place of air there is only water, and this water will not allow air to come in or come between the soil particles. Now soil is no more aerated. So the roots of the plant will not get air or oxygen. This will affect their growth badly, severely, and it will cause destruction of crops. So there must be a proper, efficient drainage system so that extra water or excessive water can be drained out, and there must be no accumulation of extra excessive water, standing or stagnant water in the fields to avoid condition like waterlogging. This waterlogging condition reduces the air or aeration of the soil as well as makes the soil very salty or saline, which is no more fit for the good growth of the crops. Okay, so we have to avoid this waterlogging condition anyhow by good, proper, efficient drainage system. Now, next agricultural practice, that is protection of crops. See, it is a very important step or method to be carried out by farmers, because there are several factors or agents which can hamper or affect the growth of crops badly, severely, as well as ruin or destroy their quality also. So a farmer needs to employ or adopt various steps or techniques in order to protect his growing crops from these factors or agents. Okay, now first of all we should know what are the different factors or agents which can damage crops, which can ruin their quality. First of all, weeds. Secondly, pest. Last but not the least, pathogens. Now, first of all, a farmer has to protect his growing crops from the weeds, from the damage caused by weeds. Now, first of all, what are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plants which grow with the main crop, like amaranthus, wild oats, grass. These are unwanted, undesirable plants which grow with the main crop, and these are very harmful for the main crop because they compete with the main crop for sunlight, water, space and nutrients. In this way, they hamper or affect or stop the growth of the main crop, as well as ruin their quality also, ruin their health also. Okay, so a farmer needs to protect his main crop from the damage caused by weeds. Now, removal of these weeds or unwanted or undesirable plants from the field is known as weeding. So, weeding is the process by which weeds, means unwanted or undesirable plants, can be removed out from the fields. Okay, weeding can be done by various methods. First is manual method, means in this method farmers manually pull out or remove or eradicate weeds from the fields. They can use a tool called trowel also. Trowel is a hand-held tool which is used with the help of hand in order to pull out or eradicate or remove out weeds from the field. In Hindi we call it khurpa. You must have seen. There is one more tool or implement called harrow. It is a comb-like tool or implement. It is mainly used in large field and it is driven by tractor. So, it is attached at the back of the tractor and then it is driven by the tractor. It removes all the weeds from the field. It is specially used in large fields. Okay. Now, there are certain harmful chemicals which are used to kill all the weeds or undesirable, unwanted plants in the fields. Okay, these chemicals are known as weedicides or herbicides. Okay, so weedicides, also known as herbicides, are certain harmful chemicals which kill weeds, which destroy weeds, unwanted plants or undesirable plants from the fields, in fields. Okay. Examples of some common familiar weedicides or herbicides are 2,4-D. Its full form is 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. MCPA. Its full form is 2-methyl-4-chloro-1-phenoxyacetic acid. Okay, and butachlor. So these are some common familiar weedicides or herbicides used by farmers to kill, or we can say destroy, weeds or unwanted or undesirable plants grown in the fields with the main crop. These chemicals do not harm the main crop. They only harm or destroy the weeds. But they are also harmful for us. So, we have to avoid their entry in our body. So, while spraying these weedicides or herbicides, farmers must use mask to cover their mouth or nose, so that these harmful weedicides or herbicides will not go in their body. This is the same reason why are we advised to wash all the fruits and vegetables before eating or cooking, because during their cultivation and growth, weedicides or herbicides were spread on them. So they contain residues of herbicides or weedicides, and these are harmful chemicals. When they go in our body, they can harm our body badly. So we have to wash all these vegetables and fruits before cooking or before consumption, in order to remove all the traces or residues of weedicides or herbicides over them. In addition to this, there is one more method by which we can remove or destroy weeds from our fields. That is by growing or cultivating special kind of plants like soya bean, sunflower in the field. Actually, these plants, soya bean, sunflower, produce or release certain substances which destroy the weeds or undesirable or unwanted plants in fields. So these are the various methods by which weeding can be done, by which weeds means unwanted or undesirable plants can be removed from the fields. Now there are some more factors or agents which can damage our growing crops, that are pests and pathogens. So how can we protect our growing crops from the attack or damage caused by pests or pathogens? That we will discuss in our next class. This is all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.